Hey everyone, welcome back. Episode 5 of the Bar Exam Drills podcast. This is going to be a short episode. I got Brandon back with me. It's a short episode. There's not really much in terms of questions about bar prep because it's still so early. We're still in December. The holidays coming up, and there's not really that many questions besides when are you going to start? Stuff like that, like stuff we've already addressed. I did have some questions from some users that I wanted to show the audience. Both these conversations, which are the same thing, I'll flash them across the screen, and for you audio listeners, I'll just kind of get to the gist. So I think maybe I haven't been really clear on why the MBEs are so important to put up front. And it's not like, well, any program that gives you some freedom, it's not really a blowing off of the writing. I'm just saying if you take, let's say 3 months, right? December, January, and February. I'm just saying to prioritize the MBEs, you can have that freedom of allocating the time. I'm just saying get the MBEs as high as you can before you start the writing. Because, I sound like a broken record at this point, but question that I just flashed across the screen said something along the lines of, how is this MBE drilling gonna help my writing? And it's just gonna help your writing in terms of knowing the rules and knowing how these rules are tested, because the fact pattern in a multiple choice is often the exact same fact pattern in one paragraph of the essay prompt or even the PT prompt that is going to trigger or raise the issue of how you will talk about this. And if you know that nuance in how the rule relates to it and how they arrive at the correct answer choice on the MBE, you're basically writing a perfect IRAC analysis. So I guess that's about it for this episode. Very short and quick. There's not really much else to talk about this early in bar prep. Brandon, did you want to give any tips for this episode or anything?
I kind of just want to add to what you said. You said it super, super well, that each MBE is more of just a mini paragraph that you would put in an essay. And here's a good example. So you make an MBE question that tests a legal relevance. Well, that's in an evidence essay, you're going to touch on legal relevance every time. So if you can learn to spot that issue and then you have this rule memorized from doing MBEs, you're going to be able to write about it. And the evidence is legally relevant because XYZ. It helps to reinforce that activity. I couldn't have said it better myself. Every MBE is basically a paragraph that you're going to put in an essay. That's exactly what it is. I just thought it'd be good to have an example like, what does that mean? Well, here's an example. Legal relevance, logical relevance. Here's a hearsay exception. They'll test a hearsay exception on the MBEs, and you go to the essays, you're going to write that hearsay exception, how to issue spot it and apply it because of the MBE. So like you said, it's not ignoring the writing, it's just putting the MBEs forward, putting them first, because then you can go back and say, oh, I've seen this before, this is nothing.
Right. Who better to explain a legal theory or the way something works than the National Conference of Board Examiners? They're the ones testing you, so they are like the gospel, so to speak. They will explain it exactly how they want it. Well, that is really what you gotta go for.
And you can't go wrong with learning how to write the way a national standard is. You can't go wrong there.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. I'm watching out for questions for next week. Have a good week, everyone.
Take care, everyone.